Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our Thursday morning gathering. My name is Tara Healey. I'm the founder and director of MindtheMoment, the mindfulness program of Harvard Pilgrim Healthcare and Tufts Health Plan. So these practices are fully guided. They're about 12 to 14 minutes in length, and then we save time at the end for Q&A. So usually about 10 minutes or so for questions and answers. And, I came across something I haven't looked at in a while. I've been pulling out some of my old meditation instruction books, things that books that are, I've had for a long time but haven't looked at. And so I came across this one teaching, and I'm going to start the practice this morning by just reading to you a little bit from that because it's so core and central to what this practice is. And there are, many, many layers to this practice. But this one piece I was reading this morning, I really liked. So it's pretty short. I'm going to kind of fast forward it. But so it's a student who is talking to his teacher about practice. And so basically, the teacher asked the student, what's the basic human problem? And the student ponders and then says, we're not awake. Because in a lot of ways, this is a practice of waking up, of seeing clearly how things are, not how we wish they were, but really seeing with clarity how things are. So the teacher responds and says, you're just thinking. And so student goes away and then comes back, and the teacher says, well, have you figured out the basic human problem? And he says, yes, the basic human problem is that we think too much. So his first response was, we're not awake. Second response is, we think too much. And the teacher, of course, says, you're just thinking. So third time, what's the basic human problem? And then the student responds with, there's no problem. And he's very, very happy with his response, just kind of feeling inflated and happy. And then the teacher says, well, if there's no problem, then what are you doing here? And so the student feels humiliated, totally humiliated, kind of head down, body contracted. And the teacher says, what are you experiencing right now? And the student says, I feel like crawling into a hole. And at that point, the teacher says, can you fully and completely experience physically that feeling of wanting to crawl into a hole? And so that is such a good lesson because we are conditioned to be, kind of from the neck up, to analyze, to plan, to think. And of course, there is a place for that. But part of what we're doing in these practices is we are feeling the impact of various events emotionally that happen to us. So the idea with that, the teacher is saying, see if you can fully step into, and another way of looking at it is turn toward that experience of wanting to crawl into a hole, and what's the physical manifestation of that. And so body practices are really central. And so with that, what I wanted to do is to do a longer body scan this morning, longer than we typically do. Often I'll start with just what's called a body sweep. You just sweep your awareness through the body, see how things are. But we're going to do a little bit longer practice with the body. And we're going to end with concentration practice. So go ahead and situate yourself in a way that is comfortable and feels like it's going to support you this morning. So you could be seated, standing, or lying down for this practice. Your eyes can be open or closed. And if they're open, you want to gaze downward a little bit to help remove peripheral distraction. And if you're standing, open eyes is a good way to go. So Go ahead and settle in. Take a couple deep breaths, making your exhalation longer than your inhalation to help with the settling and settle any surface tension from the morning's activities. 1 or 2 breaths, whatever feels right to you. And go ahead and see if you can just surrender your weight into the support of the ground below, feeling held by the ground below. Nothing to hold on to, releasing the weight of the body into the support of the earth. Yet maintaining a spine that is engaged, that is upright, not too loose, not too tight. And just see if you can let go of what has happened already this morning and to also release anticipation of what's next. Just allowing yourself to fully arrive here in this moment, mind and body together, feeling into the body, noticing points of contact, noticing other physical sensations. So, whole body awareness. And take a moment to expand awareness to include sound in the room or outside of the room. And just engaging hearing, the sense of hearing. And allowing sounds to arise and pass as they will. Let's moving into the body scan and starting at the feet. So, isolating this area of your body, noticing sensation or lack of sensation in the soles of the feet, the toes, the top of the feet, the heels, include the ankles. And just for a moment, feeling into this part of the body, isolating this part of the body, receiving sensation or noticing lack of. This type of practice where we're isolating an area in Dr. Amishi Jha's terms often is called the flashlight. We're highlighting a particular area of the body to the exclusion of other areas until we get to the next part. So let's go ahead and move up to the lower leg. So between the ankles and the knees, the calves and the shins. Highlighting this area of the body with your flashlight of attention, with the rest of the body being dimmed. See what sensations might be happening and or be aware of no sensation. And let's go ahead and move to the knees. So the tops, the sides, the back. And again, this idea of thinking versus feeling into. And you might be toggling a little bit back and forth, calling to mind the image, and then seeing if you can really feel that isolated part of your body. And moving to the thighs. So the back of the thighs, the tops, the sides. Let's include the hips. So isolating this region of your body, receiving whatever is there. So perhaps it's a point of contact that you're noticing or something else. And moving up to the torso. So the front of the body, the back of the body, internally, and bringing this receptive, curious lens of awareness, turning toward sensation or noticing lack of sensation. And releasing that and coming up to the shoulders and down both arms, upper arms, forearms, and hands. And holding the arms and shoulders, arms, hands in your field of awareness. Feeling into and receiving sensation. No effort, more of a receptive stance in the mind. Nothing to try to go out and find. Receptive, easeful. Releasing that and moving up the neck, the back of the head, the sides of the head, and the top of the head. Shining the flashlight, isolating this region of your body, receptive, noticing what's there or not. And releasing that and moving to your face. Softening any areas that you might be holding. So the area, noticing sensation around the jaw, the tongue and the mouth, the forehead and the eyes, the nose, the cheeks. And again, bringing that kind of receptive quality to sensations in the area of your face. And releasing and coming now back into whole body awareness. Holding the whole body in your field of awareness, noticing if there are any areas that are calling for attention, for your awareness to land. Taking a moment to do that, or simply be with whole body awareness. And for the remainder of our practice, let's find an anchor for the wandering mind. And we're remembering, this practice is not about stopping thought. We're just seeing when a narrative has slipped in and we're chomping away on it, that we're not going to continue. We're just simply going to release it, and we're going to return to something to help stabilize the busy mind. So that could be breath sensation anywhere in your body where you feel it most prominently. So tracking the sensations as you inhale and exhale at the belly, perhaps the chest, could be the nostrils, could be the whole carriage of the body. You feel the sensations of that movement most easily. Alternatively, you could take the palms of your hands and rest them on the top of your thighs and let the feeling of that point of contact be your anchor. You could use another body sensation that's easy for you to land on, or sound. And noticing where your mind is. And just very gently let go of the narrative and return to your anchor. And as we bring this meditation to a close, may we be peaceful and at ease. May our heart be soft and open. May we be safe and protected, and our bodies healthy and strong. And may whatever good comes of our practice be a benefit to all beings. So, taking a moment, if the eyes were closed, to open the eyes and maybe reorient to the room you're in. And so that was a little bit longer than typical, by a few minutes, but would love to hear any, questions, observations, sharing of resources, so a book or a poem or an app or, something you've come across, a podcast that's been helpful and inspiring you in some way. And also curious if anybody had the opportunity to attend the Art and Science of Awareness series we're running monthly. And I did one yesterday. With Jeffrey Prue from Brown, who does a lot of work on the impact of mindfulness on stress and life events, often in underserved populations or indigenous communities, Black, high risk youth, who else? First responders. Um, so if anybody attended, I would love to hear. Francis, yeah, the flashlight image is a good one. It is, Dr. Amishi Jha, that's one of the images she uses where when you want, it's a more focused kind of awareness where you're highlighting one particular area, the rest around is dimmed. And then, she has she has a few different types of awareness, but one is just called the floodlight, which is you're just widening and expanding. So her work is really great. Jamie, I really appreciate the poems. My library network didn't have any Dana Falls books, so I ordered What's True. You will not be sorry, Jamie. It's I feel like she's a modern day Rumi. Her poetry is really beautiful. You will not be sorry. Heather, yeah, super interesting yesterday. Oh, good. Um, it was, I'm so happy. It was fascinating to learn about his work. I think so too, Francis. And I said when I finished that was one of my favorite interviews. We didn't have a huge turnout, but part of what we're finding is that people are going and are looking at the talks after. So this will be posted in about a week. And when that's posted, I'll share the link so that if anybody here missed it yesterday, but you want to see the conversation, it was one of my favorites. So I'm really glad to hear that you enjoyed the interview. His work's fascinating. And Jamie, the speaker yesterday was inspiring. Yes, and humble. He's so humble. And Karen, yesterday's session was excellent. Great. Um, I'm so happy to hear. I was a little bummed that it wasn't like just a bigger audience, only because I think what he's doing is so amazing, and partly because of his humility, he's really under the radar. He's not on social media, whereas some of our other guests, they're on social media, so they're immediately posting, "Hey, I'm having this conversation," but he's not. So, Susan, I was surprised that the longer scan allowed me to acknowledge some pain. Yeah, and seemingly minimize it. Yes, it's a really interesting thing to, not always know what's there, realize what's there, and that attention, bringing awareness or attention to an area that we're struggling with, it can seem almost counterintuitive, like, well, I might exacerbate that pain, but actually test it and see. It could happen, but more often than not, the body appreciates being acknowledged in this way. Um, Losel, looking forward to watching YouTube. Yes. And I will totally make sure that everybody gets the link for that. And Dot, thank you. I really enjoyed the speaker yesterday. Oh, I'm so happy. I'm so happy so many of you were there. It sounds like it was a lot from the group this morning that joined. Um, yeah, he's pretty extraordinary. And one of the things that I really loved and appreciated, it brought me back actually to some of my early work with um, Harvard Community Health Plan and Harvard Pilgrim Healthcare, was making medical care, helping to that it was culturally appropriate for the patients who were being seen, that it was a doctor that was of the same either generation or cultural background, language. And so what Jeffrey is doing is, he has indigenous roots himself. Um, and he is taking some of the practices that are already within those cultures and seeing how they are, in fact, mindful practices and can be enhanced through using language that is relatable about, doing a body scan, but using the language of the culture to label the different parts of the body. Or different practices, and I think one of the examples was beading, beading and making jewelry or clothing where the art of beading and bringing mindful awareness to that practice. Because like anything, we can bring mindfulness to anything we do, or we can do these things and just let, the mind do whatever it wants. But there's a way to actually build practice into moments throughout our day, anything we do, brushing our teeth. We can brush our teeth and be rehashing a conversation we had, or regretting something, or worried about something, or we can just be present with brushing our teeth. So he's really, showing how some of the practices you're already doing can be integrated in. And he was really also talked a lot about it's a collaborative effort, he's um, and Jamal, I've been listening to the audiobook Life is in the Transitions, Mastering Change at Any Age, Bruce Feiler. The premise being that your life is nonlinear and setbacks and changes don't have to be insurmountable. They often serve as catalysts. Wow, that is really, really good to hear. I don't know. I don't know about that, but I am going to Life is in the Transitions. Thank you. And Ian, it was a Jewish holiday. Yes, that's right. In synagogue services, that's kind of mindful too. Fortunate we can see the video. Yes. Yeah. 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 Thank you for that. So I will probably be able to post that by Wednesday of next week, if not before, but I'll share the link with everybody, and I'll make sure John Roberts, our operations manager, every Tuesday from 12 to 12:30 has a guest. He'll post it. And then Wednesday and Thursday, I'll post it as well. So, but anything I see we're at 8:59. Anything else that anyone, and by the way, I really appreciate everybody just sharing in the chat and commenting and just offering things that you've come across, that you've read, or the opportunity you had to attend yesterday. That was really helpful. Karen, thank you, and Julia, thank you. Wow, I just looked, so it looks like we have just about 30 people on this morning. Thank you, everybody, for joining, and happy Thursday. I hope you have a really great day, and as we head into the weekend, it looks like it's going to be another really sunny and beautiful weekend, so enjoy, and I'll see you next week. Okay, bye, everybody.